This is Jai Baker with Luminous Wealth. I'm the CEO and founder of Luminous Wealth, which is a multifamily office providing holistic services to the families that we work with. I'm also author of the book, The Awakened Investor, and we've also written another journal that we use in working with our private clients. And I have the pleasure today of having a chat with Chris Joseph. He's a certified terrain advocate and radical remission health coach and founder of Terrain Navigators. Trained at the renowned Metabolic Terrain Institute of Health under Dr. Nasha Winters, Chris specializes in guiding people with cancer through a holistic root cause approach that goes far beyond genetics. Chris is now enjoying his life, having been diagnosed with pancreatic cancer 10 years ago. His mission? To help individuals reclaim agency over their health by addressing the real drivers of disease: what we eat, how we think, the traumas we carry, and the environments we inhabit. Through personalized care and the innovative Terrain 10 framework, Chris empowers clients to transform their health stories from fear to hope and from helplessness to action and true healing. You know, this is a major topic in the U.S. 40% of Americans will be diagnosed with cancer during their lifetime. Chris, many people believe cancer is mostly hereditary, but your work clearly suggests otherwise. Can you explain in simple terms why you see environment, lifestyle, and mindset as the main drivers of cancer, and how this understanding can empower everyday people?
Yeah, and thank you for the introduction, truly. And it's a pleasure to be talking with you. Yeah, I mean, I think the numbers are something like, the real numbers are something like 90%, 90% of cancers are not hereditary. They're lifestyle, environmental, the food we eat, the food we don't eat, exercise, lack thereof, toxins that we're exposed to, stress, trauma, water we're drinking, sleep or lack thereof. There's so many factors that go into what contributes to chronic health, and very little of it is actually inherited. And yeah, it's what you said earlier. To me, that's an opportunity. If there's all these factors that are causing illness, that means we can try to steer the ship in a better direction. And that's what I did with a lot of help. That's what I did in my own cancer journey. That's now my mission. It's my life's mission, to teach people how to get healthier. I can't in any way, and no person of integrity can say, I can fix you or I can get you well. I don't make promises like that, but I can teach people how to get healthy. I can, and I do that.
Well, that's important because I think most people go, as soon as they find a diagnosis of cancer, they turn to Western medicine and the white coats that have, it's a symbol of great authority and trust, and don't even consider other methods, certainly the naturopathic methods of healing themselves. They get on the conveyor belt of operations and surgeries and chemos, and don't even know this opportunity exists for their health. And that's why we're having conversations like this, is to bring awareness to the masses that there is they can be the choice makers of their health and not a victim of their health.
Sure.
Go ahead. Yeah.
What I was going to say is that some people think that people in this space are anti-Western medicine. That is not the truth at all. I'm actually very pro-Western medicine. I mean, and I'll give you some examples. If I was hit by a car, take me to an emergency room. I've had shoulder surgery. I've had back surgery. Those have been phenomenal. I've had cataract surgery. I'm 69 years old. I don't wear glasses. There are some things Western medicine can do that is simply amazing, amazing stuff. But for chronic illness, we have fallen way, way. That's where Western medicine often, not always, but often has been failing.
Right, because the root cause of 90% of chronic illness is what we put in our mouth, what we're thinking in our minds, or the environments we put our bodies in.
Yes.
And that's that's how you heal those diseases created by that, is by removing them from your body. And your body has infinite intelligence to return itself back to homeostasis, back into balance, just by removing these factors. It's not by giving somebody pills or cutting things out necessarily. That's just, as you've mentioned, treating symptoms, not getting to the root cause. And many times those pills create other side effects and other diseases. And it's just a circular process. And so in the work that you're doing, you use the Terrain 10 framework in your practice. Could you walk us through a real life example of how changing nutrition, mindset, and environment has made a tangible difference for someone facing cancer?
Yeah, I mean, the best example I could use is my own journey, being diagnosed with third stage pancreatic cancer back in 2016. Pancreatic cancer, 7 out of 10 people are dead within 1 year of diagnosis. I did what most people do, which is listen to my doctor. The only thing they offered me in Western medicine, they said my tumor was inoperable. I couldn't use radiation. I mean, in hindsight, all that stuff is good that I didn't do any of that. The only thing they offered me at the time in 2016 was chemotherapy. And chemotherapy, they never talked to me about any of the non-Western stuff, nothing. I knew a little bit about it, but I didn't know a lot. But the chemo they were giving me for the first few months was not working. My tumor was continuing to grow. And I kept thinking, I am going to be one of those 7 out of 10 that die within a year. And I don't think I was wrong about that because the chemo itself was killing me. The chemo was hard and it's poison basically. And so in March of 2017, I didn't know it at the time, but I can look back and label certain things. My intuition took over and I said, I can't do this anymore. I don't know if there are other things I could do, but I can't continue down this path because this path's going to kill me. So that was the first thing I did, was trust my gut. And the second thing I did was take charge of my health. And I fired my oncologist in March of 2017. I have not spoken to him since. That's when I quit chemotherapy and I fired him. And I just embarked on a journey of curiosity and of openness and of hopefully healing. And I want to be clear that I didn't know at the time that it was going to work. I did not know that. It could have ended in disaster. There are no guarantees of anything, even of a healthy journey like I embarked on. But I learned how to eat better. I learned how to exercise more about breathing and mindfulness, dealing with stress, so things we talked about earlier already, toxins, just living more mindfully. And I will tell you one other thing is that, and this is what I teach people now, I teach them better lifestyle choices. And I also say there are no side effects to this stuff, no negative side effects, zero. I can't sit here and tell you or anyone that if you do this, you're going to be cured of cancer. I don't do that. I don't say that. But I do say we're going to teach you how to get healthier, and hopefully that'll work. Because when you get healthier, you increase your odds of doing better with cancer, surviving and thriving with cancer. I do tell people that you can increase your odds, but there are no side effects of it, no negative side effects whatsoever.
Well, several people and your colleagues have mentioned to me that actually they have viewed cancer as a blessing and that they're actually more healthy after going through their naturopathic healing process than they were before they got cancer, because what they've now done is they've removed those blocks that created the cancer. that wasn't providing them a fulfilling life, wasn't providing them a way that they were living in their own authentic light. And that's just, I'm not sure I could say that to somebody who said, I just found out I had cancer, to say to them, well, I think this is a blessing for you. But the people that have been healed and have gone through this process, it's just amazing and refreshing to hear that perspective. That you look at yourself as victims, you look at yourself as choice makers, and you've taken the power back within yourself to heal.
Yeah, can I put a second and an exclamation point on that? I totally agree, and that's been my experience as well. I will say that if someone had told me 10 years ago that cancer is a blessing for you, will be a blessing for you, I would have said, no, you're crazy. Um, so I didn't think it at the time. I just want to be clear about that. I did not think that 10 years ago, but I look back on it now, and without question, cancer was a blessing. I mean, do I wish I didn't have to have cancer, be diagnosed with cancer in order to learn all the things I did? Of course I wish that, but that's not how it unfolded. And
Mhm.
how it unfolded has truly been a blessing. I am healthier physically, emotionally, spiritually, financially, you name it. And I want to be clear, it's not like I don't have stuff in my life still. I do. I'm human. I've still got
Mhm.
some crap that I'm dealing with. That's we are all works in progress. But
Mhm.
I will say my life is much better. I mean, my relationships are deeper and richer, uh, more meaningful. I especially as a guy, I cry a lot, I laugh a lot, and both of those things, without crying or without laughing, I might not be here.
Right.
Uh, yeah, it's learning to find the joy and to not necessarily appreciate the pain, but recognize there's going to be crowd. There's
Yeah.
going to be crowd. We all have it.
Well, I can tell that you also live in a state of gratitude. And while you may not have known you were going to be able to heal yourself from the get go, you at least didn't block yourself. You didn't have the mindset that I can't deal with this. You at least had what I call an open mind for whatever might be possible. Not that you knew it was going to happen, but you were open to it to happen. You weren't blocking. And so, my next kind of comment here is I know negative thinking and unresolved trauma are often overlooked in cancer care. These are deep seated programs within our subconscious mind. Uh, how do you help clients address these emotional factors, and what impact have you seen on their healing journeys? Because I know internal thoughts become external reality. The most primary principle of hermetics is all of consciousness is mental, all is mind. And so, can you comment on this aspect of
Yeah,
the
yeah.
healing?
I might have some um, contrary thoughts to popular opinion. I mean, obviously, I do think our thoughts can influence our actions. I mean, of course they can. We know they can. But I have also learned that sometimes our thoughts are just our thoughts, and they're just noise. And I'll tell you an example of that. I have thought, but not now. I don't. But back when I got diagnosed in 2016, 2017, I'm telling you, this is not an exaggeration. I thought I was going to die, not hundreds of times, thousands of times, thousands over those first couple of years. I kept thinking, I'm not going to see my kids graduate high school. I was in a constant loop of negative thinking, and I'm still here. Um, and so, so while I do think we could influence our reality, sometimes I think, our brains are just they're wired the way they're wired. I mean, I do try to teach people to answer your question more from a macro level, not my own journey. I do talk to people and teach people about mindfulness and meditation and breathing work, breath work, and and to, if they can afford it, to get into some good therapy if they have some traumas to deal with, to do some trauma healing, lots of different tools that I don't necessarily teach myself. I'm not a therapist, but I can refer people. Um, I do think all that stuff is helpful, and I have done all that stuff. I was
Hmm.
in therapy for 20 years. I still meditate, not as often as I used to. Um, I'm in a program now called Primal Trust, um, which is I'm learning more about my nervous system, and I hope to use those tools to teach clients. So yeah, lots of tools that are available to people. And I guess one of the other things I'll say is that you had mentioned a couple minutes ago about gratitude, and I do have amazing amounts of gratitude, which I didn't have nearly this level before. But I also think I am I am a student. I am a lifelong student now. I just love this. Even talking with you, talking with Laura, I can learn so much just from talking to other people and learning about your journeys.
Hmm.
And all it takes is one spark. You could say something to me like, "Oh, I never thought of something that way. I never thought of it that way. That's really interesting." And then it makes me want to learn more, not only about you, but about that nugget that I never thought about before, that I never
Of
knew
course.
about. So it's an exciting journey to be on. It really is. Yeah.
Well, you've kind of mentioned one or two things that you do, but I listened to one of your other podcasts the other day, and actually it was a talk that you gave at Metabolic Train Institute for Health Wellness Retreat out in Phoenix a couple of months ago. And at the end of your talk, you're talking about your day, the 5 or 6 things that you incorporate into almost every day of your life that I think would be really impactful for people to hear and to know what you do to live this thriving, healthy life now.
Well, like I said, I do want to say that I am like everyone else, a work in progress. And so the things that I will mention now are the things that I've been doing the last few years. I don't know if they'll be the same things I'm doing 5 years from now, 10 years from now, because I hope, like I said, to continue to learn. But right now, the things that I am most focused on for my own health journey are food I eat. Uh, I am incredibly mindful about what I'm putting in my body, and I want to be clear, I'm not perfect, but every meal I have now, I say to myself, I don't say this out loud, but in my head, I say, is this going to help me or is this going to hurt me? And that helps me make better choices. I eat very low carb, and I have eaten low carb now for a long time, and that will be something that I will do the rest of my life. I don't eat junk food. I eat very few sweets. Uh, Stay away from fried foods. Stay away from ultra processed food. So the food thing is a big component. It really is. But it's hard to do it at the beginning. But now for me, it's second nature. But that'll be, if I live 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, I'll be doing this the rest of my life. Exercise is a huge thing. I try to move my body, at least an hour a day, maybe a couple hours a day. That could be mostly walking. I'm a big proponent of walking and getting outside. Obviously, sometimes weather could be a factor, and maybe not walking as much. But I do gentle yoga every day. I try and do things that are free, that you don't have to go to a gym. Walking is free. Doing gentle yoga at home is free. I don't think you have to spend a lot of money, maybe on food, but not on the exercise component. Uh, I guess another thing is again, we mentioned this earlier, but living with more gratitude and just being mindful of that. Uh, Maybe 5 to 10 minutes of some sort of mindfulness breath work every day. That's part of my life. Connecting with people. There's still part of me that likes being alone. I used to love being alone. And now I'm realizing as I get older, like I said, there's still part of me that likes that, but connection, human connection I need more of that, and I do enjoy that more than I used to. Um, my relationship with my two grown kids has always been good, but it's even better now. Uh, I I am more mindful of the people that I hang out with, people I choose to have in my life. Uh, oh, here's one that's not related to what I just said. I have turned off television news. Uh, I haven't watched television news and I can't remember how long. It's been years. To me, it's not news. It's toxic, and I don't care what side of the fence politically people are on, because there's channels for whatever political party you're in. But it's not even news. It's designed to incite and agitate, and my body doesn't need that. I don't need it. I can keep track of what's going on. I read, and I'm mindful. I know a good bit of what's going on in this country, in this world, but I don't engage by watching TV. I stay away from political debates on social media. I try to use social media more now for talking about what I can do to help people, but also just staying in touch with people and using it for reconnecting with friends and family and things like that. So yeah, those are a few things. I'm sure I'm forgetting some other things I do.
Yeah, so I'll help remind you. I heard one. Do you use any biohacking tools? I heard you mention. I think you said infrared lighting
Oh yeah,
with
yeah,
some
that's actually a
frequency.
big one. Yeah, thank you for reminding me of that. Yeah, every day I have a Therasage. There's other brands, and there may be better brands or just as good brands. The one I use is Therasage. It's an infrared sauna. It's portable. I'm in it for 90 minutes every morning. I already did it this morning because I wake up early. Um, 90 minutes, I'm at the max temperature, 170 degrees. If anyone's listening or watching this, don't start out that way. You have to start out at a very low temperature and for maybe 10 or 15 minutes. But I've been doing this for almost 6 years, I guess. And yeah, it's a daily part of my life when I'm home. And I can read when I'm in my sauna. I can watch a show on my iPad. I've done phone calls. I've done work calls, and so I can be productive while I'm in that 90 minutes. But without question, I mean, my skin looks healthier. I mean, basically, for me, the sauna is a way to detox, and people tell me I look younger now than I used to, and I think that's true. And I believe, there's probably lots of reasons for that, but I think the infrared's definitely one of the big reasons.
Well, I can vouch for that. When we first chatted and we met, you told me that you were much older than me, and I said I called BS on that. But uh, you look many years younger than your chronological age. You mentioned that you get up early. What time do you get up?
Yeah, just by the way, I'll let your listeners, viewers know I'm turning 70 this year. I get up at the latest. I get up at 5. Sometimes I'm up earlier. It just so I'm trying to negotiate a turn here. Sometimes it just depends. I have always been an early riser, even when I was a kid. I mean, part of that was it was an opportunity for me to get some time with my dad when I was a little kid, and we would read the sports page and talk about sports and stuff. So even as a kid, I've been an early riser.
Right.
I'm always amazed even with my kids, when they would sleep in. And I'm like, how do you do that? We're all built differently, and for me, sleeping in is just not. I do think getting healthy amount of sleep is very important for someone's health. Sleep for me, if I get 6 hours of sleep, which is about what I get every night,
that's pretty much what I do. I mean, some people say, oh, you should get 7 or 8, and maybe that's true. But for me, 6 hours is
Right.
what I do.
Well, it sounds like too. I mean, you're following the circadian rhythm that helps the human condition as well.
Yeah.
So that's another something that you do healthy in your life that doesn't create a block in some other way. What you've been talking about are things that help people heal from cancer and actually other diseases as well. But if people follow this protocol that don't have a disease yet, I would think this would be a lifestyle that they would want to adopt as a preventative way of living a healthy life from one day, incurring a disease like this.
Yeah.
So because most people they don't usually change their lives. They don't become a new personality when things are going right. Usually it takes a pain event. But we don't have to be that way as human beings. We can be proactive with these conscious choices that we have in front of us. And so, what are maybe some small steps that you can share with somebody that feels like, well, I'm healthy. I don't need to have this radical way of living my life. What small steps could people take that would shift in their lifestyle that would help them start down this path of living a holistic life like you've described?
I think maybe one of the biggest things is to circle back what we talked about earlier is teaching people, because a lot of people don't know, and I really didn't know how our lifestyle and our environment impacts our health. And just giving people that knowledge that, this way I'm eating, this processed food I'm eating, or these plastics I'm exposed to, they are absolutely impacting our health. And I think I don't mean this in a critical way. I just think it's an honest thing that we've all, and I was this way too, that we've all been ignoring that. We all sort of pretend that no, I can eat whatever I want, I can live however I want. I remember I had a friend from years and years ago, and I remember her saying to me, she was a real, quote unquote foodie, and which is totally cool. I respect that. But I remember she said something to me that I'd never heard anyone say before. She said, I don't like to deny myself. And I thought that's a really interesting philosophy. um, Not one that I believe in, but I do think that is not an uncommon belief system, that some people don't like to deny themselves. And I think, unfortunately, you said this a couple minutes ago, it does take some sort of pain event for people to realize, oh, I got to change. I got to change. I mean, it certainly was that way for me. And it's hard. The clients I work with, it's very rare that I'm dealing with someone who wants to work with prevention. Most of the people I'm working with, they've been diagnosed with something, usually cancer. And so I'm helping them get healthier after they've been diagnosed, as opposed to before. And maybe it's just human nature. I don't know. It might be.
Right. Well, I mean, in addition to cancer being pervasive in our society during one's lifetime, so is obesity.
Oh, yeah.
And, when somebody says, well, I just don't want to deny myself, even those people who are thinking they're being conscious about the kind of foods they're putting in their body, we've ruined our soil system in America where, I understand that now we only have 2% of our soil is nutrient dense. And it's almost as if we're now growing foods and it's just cardboard. And so even if we're not overeating, we have to pay attention to where we're getting our food from and what it's doing to our bodies as well. I mean, just like what you talked about with plastics. I mean, when we're drinking what we think is clean water out of bottles, it has some plastic element in there, and so it's a real challenge even for those people who are thinking they're doing the right things now, but the way that our culture has been developed and developed the products and services for us now, we got to be very vigilant what's happening.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just the conversation about obesity, it is hard to have those conversations in the news media. It's hard to have those conversations in social media, even in one-on-one. It's hard to have those conversations. It's like the dirty little thing that we're told that we can't talk about, and it's no pun intended, but obesity is a huge, huge problem in this country. And even to step back from that, I mean, I know you know this, Americans are profoundly unhealthy. That is not a criticism, that's just a fact. We are profoundly unhealthy, and we pay the most for it in our healthcare system, what I call a very sick care system. And so there's a lot of pushback now on the Making America Healthier Again movement, and actually some things that were talked about when I was a kid back in the '60s of organic food, and there's some pushback on that, and I'm like, why? What system are you defending? The system that is causing us to get so unhealthy right now? I get that there's some disagreements about maybe how we can go about getting healthier, but doing what we're doing is not one of the options.
Right.
It is simply not one of the options, and there's no defending a system that is failing the American public, both on the food side, the toxin side, the soil side, the healthcare system side. They're all failing, all of them.
Right. Right. Well, I've always thought that what Western medicine has called the alternative methods, which is what you've been talking about, that's the naturopathic methods. The
Mm-hmm.
Western medicine system should be called the alternative method, and the naturopathic method should be called the real medicine. And also,
Yep.
when we go to grocery stores, instead of labeling things organic, I think they ought to be not be labeled and label all those other things not organic.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
we just have a reverse way of looking at things here in our society, and it's just wrong.
Isn't it? It's so interesting, right? I mean, we have health food stores. Like, you're right. We have to call them health food stores to let people know that, yeah, most of the stuff in here is actually healthy, as opposed to going to like a Safeway or whatever, where where we know most of the stuff is not healthy. It's not.
Right, right. Well, I've taken up more than the time that we allotted today for our call, and you've been gracious in allowing us to go over and to enjoy the conversation. And I really appreciate you, the work you're doing in the world, the healing that you're providing to the world, and I'm just feel in great gratitude to have met you and have these conversations, and hopefully we'll have more.
Likewise, yes, I'd love to continue the conversation.
So,
Thank you.
can you tell perhaps if somebody's listening to this right now or later, how somebody could get in touch with you and your organization for conversation?
Yeah, the best way is to go to the website, www terrain navigators, all one word. That's terrainnavigators.com. And they'll find things about me, about the company, a way to reach me. I think even my phone number is probably on there. But certainly the email address is on there.
Okay, great. Well, Chris, you have a great rest of your afternoon, and look forward to chatting with you again, my friend.
Thank you, Jai.
All
It's
right.
been a pleasure talking with you and getting to know you.
Yeah, thank you. Namaste.
Namaste.